So Aristocats starts with this little tune that paints the picture of Paris for us and also explains the meaning of the word Aristocat. The beginning theme is in E harmonic minor, which blends nicely with C major, and C major signifies the posh status or the classy status of this family and how academic these little cats are. In fact, I'm sure the key of the piece is C major. Then after that, we're introduced to Edgar. Edgar is the house servant, and he's got little tunes that show insignificance of his character, really. He's very crude and doesn't really have a strong agenda. The lady of the house has a house guest coming over that she tells Edgar about. We see the guest, and he's an old man. He's a very, very old man. Even older than the lady herself. He's humming a little tune that he has in his head, a very uplifting tune. Maybe shows that he's very happy to be visiting, but he seems to be a very, very positive person in general. Then we have our first comedy break, if you're not counting the intro. Edgar tries to get the guest in the lift, but he refuses, doesn't take the elevator, instead opts to take the stairs, and he's very old, so it's just a funny little mimic between them two trying to get the guest over the steps. Then we see the lady getting ready for her guest, George, and she's also listening to some very lovey-dovey tune in the background in A minor. Now, when they see each other, they start listening to and dancing to Habanero, and they mention it being by Carmen. And also George points out that they have a shared memory associated with Carmen's Habanero. Now, Carmen's piece is a very specific piece, and it has its own cultural meanings behind it. Now, if you look at the score, we can see the first chord that we hear is a D minor. It starts on a D note, jumping to an A, the dominant of D, to an F, the third degree of the chord, and then back to an A. Now, cross-culturally, D minor has been the key of sadness and sorrow and death and symbols as such. But A would be a symbol of love, and we don't really need to know this reference of A being the symbol of love, because earlier it was semiotically introduced to us in the other scene when Madame, the lady of the house, was getting prepared for meeting George, I guess, while she was listening to another tune in A minor. Now, in Aristocats, however, this tune is hidden in G minor. It's been transposed to G minor and really hiding the true meaning of this tune away from us, the audience, unless if we are totally capable of understanding this specific reference. Now, in the next scene, we have Edgar making up an evil plan to take away the kitties because he thinks they're getting all the inheritance from Madame. Now, there's almost no music in this scene, and the reason for that is the strong emphasis on the plot and how the storyline is changing from this point on. Now, there are little themes and stuff following Edgar around that show his evil nature to us, but this is very quickly resolved into a childish tune in C major as we're taken to see the kitties once more, and they're getting some schooling from their mother. All the lessons seem to be quite musical, and everything's taught to them through music. Now, as one of the kitties gets hurt while they're playing around, the tune is suddenly taken to D minor, and then the mother of the cats tries to take this to an E minor through storytelling. She also mentions F major, and her lyrics in the F major are about how luxurious these cats are and how posh and gentlemanly they should behave. Now, I wasn't at first sure why F major was introduced to us, but after looking at it for a little bit, I realized that F major balances the D minor and makes E minor sound like the new key. Mother's voice is accompanied by soft instruments, soft woodwind, sax and soft horn, and her tune seems to be quite loyal to C major from the start on, giving the little kitties the confidence that nothing's really changed and still all of this is part of learning. Now, after this, we have my favorite scene from the whole cartoon, and it's where the little orange kitty tries to play very aggressive. Of course, not being mean to his siblings or mother. He's just saying that if there were an alley cat, he would be very rough with it and stuff like that. And his aggression gets put down by the mother very quickly. and he jumps and starts painting an abstract painting, and this is accompanied with chromatic expressionist music. I thought this was a little funny joke of how an artist is created in society, and it rings very, very true. In the cartoon, you don't really question that scene. It flows very nicely with the storyline. Now, shortly after that, they're back to musical practice with their mother. Of course, this is in C major again, and this time even the little orange kitten joins in and tries to take part in the practice. After that, the cats are being served some milk by Edgar, and he's put sleeping pills in the milk, trying to get them to sleep or kill them. Of course, the cats don't know it and they start all drinking from it. We are then introduced to a new character, which is a little mouse who lives in Madam's house. The mouse's tune starts in D, and we cannot hear the contrast between D and F major, perhaps comparing his life to the luxury life of the cats. Of course, they're very friendly, all of them, and they invite the mouse to have some milk with them, so the tune doesn't really end in a sad place. After all the cats are asleep, we see Edgar get on a motorbike and driving all the cats to a far away place. There's the sound design elements of the motorbike combined with comedy music, showing how indelicate the character of Edgar is once again. Then there's a cut to two dogs that are guarding a mill, as it appears to be. The dogs live in quite rough circumstances and they have a military language that they speak between them. They appear to live in very bad circumstances and there's no comforting music accompanying them. There's a little joke where the dogs bark different military bugles, and as they attack Edgar we hear actual brass bugles. As there is a little funny chase between Edgar and the dogs, there is epic battle music, and this all happens at night time, so it could be a little bit more exciting, perhaps especially more for children that have bedtime set by their parents, because we have to remember that this cartoon is designed for children. Then in the next scene we see the cats waking up by a bridge. They seem to be very scared. There's a spooky tune in A minor. It's in the second inversion. The mother of the kittens tries to take the theme back to A minor first inversion through playing around in C major again, as we'd seen previously that this is the way she communicates with her kittens. Then we are back to Madame's house as she finds out the kittens are gone. Of course we hear a diminished key playing around, and as the little mouse is thinking about the things that could have happened to the kittens, the music gradually goes to an E major, perhaps a symbol of danger. Then in the next scene we are introduced to a new key we haven't heard before, E flat major. And this marks the introduction of Cat O'Malley, Thomas O'Malley, which is a new character, very charismatic, entering the scene. We later understand G to be this character's key, so it flows very nicely from E flat to G, giving it an introduction. Also, this introduction marks the second act of the cartoon starting at this point. Although this tune is in E flat or G, we hear an accidental of A, and also there's great emphasis on C, so there is a good connection between O'Malley and the mother of the cats as well as the kittens. Now, by this point, C has been well established as a code for positive parental qualities. Now, O'Malley is not sure whether or not he wants to help them out, especially considering that there is 4 of them, not 1. And we hear his tune in B flat, and we expect it to be taken to a D minor second inversion. However, the attraction to A, love, is so strong that we are taken by surprise as it gradually resolves. We do not hear it arriving at A minor, but considering O'Malley's confidence in his theme sequence and melodies, we really expect it to. Then there is some more comedy music as they try to hitchhike through a car, and then shortly after that we hear yet another diminished mode, having notes of G, B flat, C sharp, E. Again, as one of the kids is in danger, then our hero O'Malley runs to save the kitty, and we are taken to an epic call to action in E. Then after that we are back in Madame's house. We hear D minor in all different shapes and forms, indicating their sadness. Everyone has a D minor theme except for Edgar. Edgar's themes are very contradicting of each other, showing his flaws with a gentle comedy touch, not too much to spoil the thrill of the whole plot. The next scene is designed to get us to have faith in O'Malley. The faith theme is played in a playful undertone of G harmonic minor with emphasis on C. Thomas makes the kitties play a little game of trustful to get breakfast, and he delivers. As one of the kitties is about to drown, we see Thomas jump in to save the day. There is a theme that's played in C, although we can still clearly hear elements of E major, A minor, as well as C. This scene signifies that Thomas can be a very good father figure for the kittens. After saving the kitty, Thomas is still in danger of drowning himself. He responds back confidently as the lady cat calls for him. She's in love, worried and sad as she is scared of losing him. Music during these scenes are as expected. They emphasize A, E and D. After that we are introduced to two new characters, two British geese. Their theme sounds almost like a parody version of O'Malley's theme, and they have a lot of British stereotypical elements about them. Now, back in Madame's house, the mouse and the horse are trying to make a plan to get the cats back. There is a theme in G major. It kind of sounds like Mission Impossible's commercial action thrill music. This theme works perfectly on the following scene, as there is a robbery themed scene coming up. Then we see a landscape of Paris, and this is accompanied by French symbolic music played on a French accordion. G is the key that signifies the authenticity of the Frenchness of this setup. I'm not semiotically adequate enough to comment on the authenticity of this scene. To me, it does sound French. Then there is the hit of this animation, Everybody Wants to Be a Cat. During that scene, we are introduced to O'Malley's friends and we see more into his soul. This piece flows nicely with many jazzy contrapuntal elements. Then it's taken to a more upbeat place as more musicians join in. The music gets less creative, but more people are joining in. And then it's suddenly taken very slow by the lady cat that sings a teasing song in A minor. And then the other cats gradually join in. As O'Malley joins in, he sings Let's Modulate, and as he sings that, he modulates to G minor, teasing G minor while still holding to the notes in A. The lady cat concludes the same theme in G major, perhaps showing her confidence. Then once again the theme is taken upbeat. It's played in F minor, but this time a lot more upbeat, and there is heavy emphasis on reminiscence of the first version of Everybody Wants to Be a Cat. Then we hear a whole tone scale as the cats are waking up the day after. There is little bits of elements of the music that was played the night before, but nothing significant. Then there's a love scene accompanied with A minor, and the love scenes between Thomas and the lady cat. Nothing really happens, they just talk. In the next scene, as they're getting close to arriving home, we are back to C major. There's soft emphasis on G, but there are no sharps or flats, so I concluded that it was in C major. Thomas is baffled by the class of their house, and we hear an F major, and this time it's not very ambitious. It stays within the tonic and the dominant. We hear some more D diminished as the mouse is worrying about the cats. Edgar's got his own version of it. Themes are very fast paced, and the themes keep on changing to different themes and switching back. This builds a momentum to a final point in the movie. We slow down, building another adventurous momentum for the mouse at some point as he journeys through the alleys to find the alley cats. And then there is a little jump scare on a B note after a descending dramatic tension. Then once they start collaborating, we hear a gypsy jazz theme. This references the other scenes from earlier points in the movie where we saw the Alley Cats along with Thomas O'Malley. And then we are back to building tension. There's chromatic tension building towards an E, and that E will mark Thomas O'Malley's heroic act of rescuing the cats. We hear Edgar's comedy theme again, and this time it's really ridiculed. Then there is epic battle music for quite some time until we hear the mouse shouting quiet, and then there's a little comedic relief as the music stops and everybody stops moving for a few seconds. As expected, this scene ends on an E epic tune again and ends on a D. It goes as follows: E, G, C, D. And then we are taken to the scenes with the lady again. We're in D minor, first inversion. This time around, a jazzy G minor that O'Malley has brought to the ensemble has also been included. This marks the finale of the movie and the plot, but then there's also the last bit of it where all the cats are singing Everybody Wants to Be a Cat, the upbeat version of it. And this time around, there's all sorts of different keys and chords included in the same harmonic ensemble as everybody's come together at the end of the movie.